Hello, my friends. There we go. That's better. How's everyone today? It's Monday, start of a new week. It's also just about the end of the month. For those in America, it's Thanksgiving week. Sorry. Um, and that kicks off the holiday season, right? Although for some, Thanksgiving seems to kick off the holiday season. We have people in my neighborhood who, the day after Thanksgiving, took down their Thanksgiving decorations, put up their Christmas decorations. Too early for me. I'm more than content to allow Christmas to be Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I'll give it a week, and we'll celebrate New Year's, and then there you go. Hey, Ann. Ann, how you been? Nice to see you. I will be ready in just a minute. I'm bringing up the desktop so I can read comments better, if we get any comments. Let's see. Ann says, I'm okay, I guess. But that doesn't sound everything all right. You know, anytime you need to talk, send me a message. Let's see. I'm doing good, Ann. As of now, as of this moment, I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to read a little bit from Course of Miracles in just a minute, and we can talk about that, or we can talk about whatever. Our morning live streams are just pretty easy going. All right, now we're set. So, if anyone's interested, this is from Course of Miracles. It's from the Teacher's Manual. Course of Miracles is a 700 and some page text. It's big. It's full of meaning, full of depth. It is disturbing, but not as disturbing as the workbook. There's 365 lessons in the workbook. Why is it disturbing? Because it takes away the ego. One revelation at a time, one lesson at a time. It keeps asking us over and over and over again to see deeper than our perception, to see deeper than what the ego wants to see. The ego wants to see attack and division and separation. The ego wants to see judgment and grievance and resentment. The ego never, never, never wants to forgive. It holds on to the justification for resentment because it gives it a distinction, makes it special. I am better than this. Well, at least I'm not this. At least I'm not this bad. The ego is always at least, if that makes sense. It's always offering that distinction just enough to give it a reality. However, our perception is not the reality. It's just that. It's our perception of reality, but never the thing itself. The map is not the territory. The menu is never the meal. So, we have the text, we have the workbook, and then there's the teacher's manual. Teacher's manual is pretty short. Oddly enough, I've been studying the Course of Miracles as well as meditating, practicing yoga forever. Course of Miracles since the early 90s. But I always put off going in depth into teacher's manual because it seemed presumptuous for me to say that I'm a teacher of God, that I'm a teacher of love. that I teach forgiveness. However, Course in Miracles says that we teach what we most need to learn. So, what am I teaching? Let's see. Northeast says, well, that's good. That was funny. We teach what we most need to learn. And every moment we're teaching something, whether we know it or not. We're demonstrating something. Am I demonstrating patience? Am I demonstrating forgiveness? Am I demonstrating love, of which is my true reality? Or am I demonstrating the opposite? What do you want to teach? What do you want to teach others? You can't escape it. You are always teaching someone something about yourself. So, Northeast, although your statement's making me smile, I can't read it. We're a family channel most of the time. So, recently, past few months, I've been called to go back in and study the teacher's manual. And offer for whatever I'm able to do. Let's see, Rant can say that it's a sin. I don't say that anything is a sin. It's not for me to say, you know? All right, so let me read. Course in Miracles, Teacher's Manual. Pray for God's justice, and do not confuse His mercy with your own insanity. Perception can make whatever picture the mind deserves to see. Remember this. In this lies either heaven or hell, as you elect. God's justice points to heaven, just because it's entirely impartial. It accepts all evidence that is brought before it, omitting nothing and accessing nothing as separate and apart from the rest. From this one standpoint does it judge, and this alone. Here, all attack and condemnation becomes meaningless and indefensible. Perception rests. The mind is still, and light returns again. Vision is now restored. What had once been lost and now found, the peace of God descends on all the world, and we can see, and we can see. Perception can make, let's go back to the beginning. Pray for God's justice, and do not confuse His mercy with your own insanity. Let's use some Christian language here. I'm not rightly Christian. Just consider myself just a yogi, just a guy that practices yoga. But from the cross, Jesus said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." He was invoking the presence of God to the situation, to a horrible injustice, to what could be seen and what we view as injustice. Jesus hanging from the cross. However, what Jesus saw was perfect wholeness. He looked at those who put him upon the cross and saw that they did not know what they did. Instant forgiveness. And he knew that God forgave that way. Already forgiven. So that's God's justice. Don't confuse our insanity. Don't confuse His mercy with our own insanity. Our insanity is viewing the world as this person's good, this person's bad. This person is whole, this person is not, this person is good, this person is evil. That's insanity. Reality, sanity, is always perfect wholeness, and it always exists right beneath our perception. However, it's our perception that shapes the world. Perception can make whatever picture the mind desires to see. If the mind wants to see someone as doing something bad, that's what the mind sees. However, reality says that this person is simply deluded. This person is simply believing its own perception, their own perception. Let me dive back in. Inappropriate laughter says, Darku gives his power to Shokraga at the end to defeat All for One. All for One was controlling Shakagara the whole time. Deku loses his power and returns to the academy as a teacher. Where is that from? Inappropriate? All right. Northeast says, and a Motec exhaust system. Robert says, if you were a type of red, what type of red would you be? Ezekiel bread. Sesame seed. Ezekiel bread. Why? Because it's a living bread. It actually has the living organisms that went into making the bread still present. Wink, wink. Let's see. So normally I read all the comments. The only reason I'm not, I'm reading it, I'm just not reading it out loud. The only reason I'm not is because it's 5 a.m. I didn't sleep very well. Robert says, like that answer. Thank you for participating. You're welcome, Robert. I try to participate with everyone. No matter what they bring, you know? Again, everything's a teachable moment. Northeast says he's been up too late. So that would be Jesus from Mexico. So let's continue one line at a time here. Perception can make whatever picture the mind desires to see. Remember this. In this lies either heaven or hell, as you elect. Heaven is either present on earth, or hell is present on earth. And it all depends on our perception. A matter if we healed our perception, and we offered that to another, and they healed their perception, what would we have? Hey, Heal. How are you, my friend? It's been a little bit since I've seen you. Does God forgive all? Are there limits? Forgiveness is an illusion. Forgiveness is we use forgiveness as an illusion to forgive illusion and see only reality. God doesn't forgive because God has no need to forgive. God is reality. Reality has no scar. Reality has no memory, only the present moment. There's only the present moment. So there's nothing to forgive. So when we use the illusion of forgiveness, we are returning back to the present moment. Ramana Maharshi, the great sage, said, it's like removing a thorn, using a thorn to remove a thorn from the palm of our hand. And then we throw both of them away. So we use a thorn to remove the thorn, and then we throw them both away because we don't need them anymore. So we use forgiveness to see through the illusion that something ever actually happened. We can say, well, of course it happened. But only in memory, only in a thought. Every memory is simply a thought. So forgiveness is the continuous coming back to the present moment over and over and over and over again. A lot of people get worried, if I keep doing that, does that mean the bad stuff will keep happening to me? No. Doesn't mean you're stupid. Doesn't mean you don't have discernment. It means that you reside only in the present moment. The past loses its hold. The future is just a projection of the past. But you still have wisdom, true discernment. And you're free. Ruthie says, coming back to the present. So, what was funny once ceases to become funny because in repetition, it just becomes boring. In repetition, it just becomes boring. Should I say that one more time? Should I add my own repetition? Hey, Samuel. Samuel says, good morning. Greetings from Tanzania, Africa. Greetings, my friend. Always appreciate you coming in. So, continuing, one line at a time, and then we'll call it a morning. God's justice points to heaven just because it is entirely impartial. God's justice is impartial. It accepts all evidence that is brought before it, omitting nothing and assessing nothing as separate and apart from all the rest. God sees only wholeness, nothing being separate. From this one standpoint, does it judge? It judges only wholeness, and this alone. So here, all attack and condemnation becomes meaningless and indefensible. Of course, we can keep defending our own attack against others. We can keep defending our own judgment against others. And then we keep living in a world of separation and division. We keep creating hell on earth. Or we can decide to use forgiveness to return us to the mind of God, which is present right now. Perception rests. The mind is still, and light returns again. Vision is now restored. What has been lost has now been found, which is heaven. The peace of God descends on all the world, and we can see. It's a simple plan. Hey, new noob. Free Palestine. How are you, my friend? So, interesting. For a while there, I had someone show up every day and actually say, why aren't you talking about Palestine? Hey, Tandra. And the reason being, and we talked about this before, me, myself, by myself, I can do absolutely nothing. However, when I seek to heal myself, when I seek to change my perception of the world, then I become the light in which everything begins to heal. Everyone is drawn into that wholeness. Then we have solutions. But we will never protest our way to peace. We will never demand enough to cause justice in the world. What we need to do is be peace. As Gandhi said, be the change in which you want to see. Be the change. Dinoob says, good buddy. Hope you are too. I am, my friend. Thank you. Tandra says, hi, Yogi. Hey, Tandra. How was your weekend, Tandra? Dinoob says, I respect your view. I would just mention that until enough change has happened. That's all I can do. You know what? Speaking of respect, I respect what you just said. It's all you can do, and you're doing it. I appreciate that. The fact that you're holding to that commitment. You know what I would ask you to add? I would ask you to add that, to just remind people that you can be the change. You can be the change that frees Palestine. You can be the change that heals division. You can be the change that heals the world. As long as people keep seeing a world of division, as long as people keep seeing a world in which it justifies what's going on in Palestine, as long as it sees a world that justifies any injustice, it'll keep happening. We could put a Band-Aid on it, as we have in the past. Every war has ended with a Band-Aid, meaning the wound is still there, and it'll resurface and resurface and resurface. Noob says, we can all be better. Absolutely, absolutely. So we need to take the Band-Aid off. We need to expose it, and we need to heal it. And we can only heal it through love. That's it. Course Miracle says that peace comes, true peace comes, love heals, only when people meet and forgive an ancient hatred. Hey, Easy. Easy says, good morning. Good morning, Easy. How are you? So the other day, new noob came in and offered his perspective, and him and I were able to talk. I'm saying him, and I apologize if it isn't. Um, and we talked, and we might still see things different ways, but we're able to talk, and we both want the same thing. We both want peace. We both want suffering to end. So that's the important thing. Noob says, it is absolutely, my friend. Easy says, been learning a lot about the bass. Easy, I love what you're doing. I love how you're just immersing yourself into it. The story is, legend has it, that Eric Clapton was a good guitar player. Good, but not outstanding. But he wanted to be outstanding. He wanted to be the best. And he locked himself in a room and just played and played and played. He'd come out of his room, he would eat, use the bathroom, he'd go back in his room. And he didn't come out until he was Eric Clapton, until he was what he is. Let's see. Tanya says, hi, Noob, and hi, Easy. Noob says, we're going to spread the word of mouth. Have a good morning. You too, my friend. So, Monday morning, guys. Easy says, it's true. What people say, practice is the only way to improve. And you know what? It has to be, for me, it has to be a certain type of practice. Practice, for me, means you're not seeking perfection. You are seeking the practice. The practice becomes perfection itself. Tandra says, how are you, Yogi? I'm good, Tandra. How about you? I'm reminded by Dogen, the great Zen master, when he was asked, does meditation lead to enlightenment? And he said no, which shocked his entire Zen community. So why are we doing it? And he said, meditation is enlightenment. It doesn't make you enlightened. It doesn't awaken you. Meditation itself is awakening. Meditation is enlightenment. So practicing the bass is awakening. It's a path. It takes you all the way there. The practice is the thing. Tandra says, good, thanks. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Hey, Tanya, I've been loving your nature videos. Easy said, sadly, I can only give it about an hour or two a day. Wish I could do more, but I have weak, dandy hands for now. They're getting stronger. If I worked with my hands more, I could practice so much more. Hey, that'll come. Hey, and an hour or two each day is a lot. My suggestion, and it's my suggestion for almost everything, fall in love with what you're doing. If you're doing it for an hour, fall in love with it for an hour. Fall in love with the practice. Fall in love with the mistakes, or what seems like a mistake. It's not really a mistake because it allows you to perfect what just happened. The fact that you can recognize something as not being exactly the way you want it is huge. Things only get better when we realize, I don't want this. But instead of getting mad at this, you smile because you know something deeper, Something more beautiful exists just beneath the surface. So you keep practicing and practicing and practicing because you love the practice itself. Tandra says, thanks, Yogi. They certainly are an adventure. Never know what you find. That's the way, Tandra, that's the way I feel every single walk that I take. I never know what I'm going to find. Easy says, I truly love the instrument. I hear it in every song now. You know what? I've been hearing the bass and drums in every song as well. I started re-listening to the Beatles just to hear Paul McCartney play the bass, just to hear the drum work of Ringo Starr. I love Ringo Starr as a drummer. I never used to. I always loved Ringo Starr, but as a drummer, I thought, it's just a drummer. He doesn't have those flourishes. He doesn't do the solos. But I've come to really appreciate the perfection of what he does, lying that beat just underneath. Listen to Rain, and it's a remarkable drumming. And I listen to songs and I realize how truly significant Paul McCartney's bass playing is. It's amazing. Ringo Starr said he doesn't know who did that drumming in Rain. I mean, he did it. He remembers it, but he said it was beyond him. Some kind of presence, some kind of drumming God descending from musical heaven and gave him that magical moment. And it really is. Man, after the live stream, before I go to my walk, I think I'm going to listen to it. Tanya says, thanks for your support, Yogi. I really appreciate it. Oh, absolutely. Always, Tundra. It's important to me. You know why it's important to me? Because it's important to you. If anyone comes to me and says, hey, can you support me in this endeavor in whatever way you're capable of, I'm going to say yes, because it's important to you. Easy says, my main problem is I have so many goals. I want to play classical music and solos, but I need to take it step by step. You know what? That doesn't sound like a problem at all. It sounds perfect, Easy. You know exactly what to do. And what you're doing right now reveals the beauty of what you will be doing. In reality, there's no such thing as steps. Playing the perfect solo already exists right now. But we don't always view reality. We view things in the framework of time. But as we know from quantum physics, as we know from Buddhism, as we know from yoga, as we know from A Course in Miracles, Sufism, mystical Christianity, time doesn't exist. The perfect baseline is already there for Easy. I'll offer one more thing, just a minute. Tandra says, Yogi, I know I come to your live streams, but do you want me to watch others for watch hours? Well, I know you're watching, my other live streams? I was going to say, I know you're watching Jace. Jace is getting really, really close to getting that. Nope, I got all my watch hours. I'm already monetized. I'm good to go. So I appreciate you being here. So, yep, no need to watch my playlist. Hey, Eve. Speaking of fully monetized, Eve is here, and Eve is fully monetized. And on the 13th, we're having a celebration. Eve is having a celebration. Everyone's invited. So, yep, Tandra, you are on my list. I got you up right now, and I'll be watching you today. Tandra is so close, guys. 903. That's remarkable. Less than 100. Less than 100 subscribers. And we're just going to keep getting those watch hours. Guys, if you can watch a playlist of Tandras. Eve says, good evening from Kenya. Good afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon to you. Easy says, I agree with what you said. Just loving the instrument and being happy is enough. Absolutely. Hey, Luke. I'm doing good, Luke. How are you? Eve says, let me come with my main account. Tom just says, thanks, Yogi. Watch hour is not so good, though, but we'll get there. We will get you there. 2025, I'm officially declaring it the year of Tandra. I'm going to put that on every one of my calendars. 2025, the year of Tandra. Eve says, Tandra. Squirrel says, I just got you. You did. I appreciate it. So, hey, easy. One of my all-time favorite stories. Michelangelo. Squirrel Snipers, him and I have shared this story before. Michelangelo, when he was asked, how did you ever create David from that single block of stone, from that single block of marble? How did you carve David? And his answer was, I didn't. David was already in the stone. I simply removed all that wasn't David. I revealed him. He revealed David in the stone. The perfect baseline exists. And your practice is just taking everything that is not the perfect baseline and revealing the perfection that's already there. It's what you're doing. Let's see. Eve says, yes, 2025, the year of Tandra. You see? That's how it begins. Thank you, Eve. Tanya says, Yogi laughing. And thanks, Yogi and Eve. Absolutely. Luke says, I'm doing good. It's very nice. That's awesome, Luke. Eve says, you're welcome, Tandra. Eve says, Tandra, I heard your music with AI. Is that right? It is. Semper says, to uncover anything requires intent. Absolutely. And if you read any Carlos Castaneda, any of the shamanistic texts, intent is an energy. It's like gravity. It's like karma. We can use intent. We enter in yoga, call it an Vedanta thought, Vedanta philosophy. It's the field of pure potentiality, the field of which life emerges from. So you enter any idea, any goal, any aim, you enter that into the infinite field of possibility, and you allow the universe to do its work. You don't have to slave. That's when it becomes fun. That's when it becomes a practice. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to slave over anything. You don't have to work until your fingers blister. Let the universe work for you. Enter the intent. Be an instrument of peace. Be an instrument of creativity, of inspiration. Let the magic happen. Luke says, that's a great answer from Michelangelo. It is, isn't it? Eve says, how are you, Sniper? And how are you, Luke? Eve says, please come make one for me for my monetization party on the 13th. Hey, Eve, do you have your link handy? Do you want to drop your link? Hey, drop it every day. Semper says, imagination, intuition, and empathy. The powers of any superhero. Man, I like that. That's awesome. So let me read one more thing. This is from the Yoga Sutras from Patanjali. Patanjali was a great yogic seer. I probably read this every day. I probably offer it to other people. So this is for Easy and what he's doing. This is for Eve and what she's doing. This is for Tandra, 2025, the year of Tandra. This is for our good friend Luke, This is for Squirrel Sniper, who's think people might lose sight. Squirrel Sniper is such a supporter, but he's also a great teacher. Hey, Johnson. Johnson says, good evening, everyone. Have a blessed morning and evening to you all. God bless. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for that. So this is from Patanjali. This is how you work with intent. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. I love that. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you ever dreamed yourself to be. So it might seem like you're doing something something small. Sniper says, my ego said, thank you, Eric. And my ego says, you're welcome, my friend. Tanya says, thanks, Yogi, that's lovely. It is. I love it. But here's the thing. We always think, well, I just got a small YouTube channel. I only have this many subscribers, that I don't have a whole lot of watch hours. I'm not doing anything great. Great is found in the small. Beauty is found in the tiny. What you're doing is of the utmost importance. Fall in love with the small things that you do every day. If one person goes to your live stream, if one person watches your nature video, and they come away feeling just a little bit better, that's a miracle. A miracle, according to A Course in Miracles, is simply a shift in perception. If you can help someone change their perception so that they see a little more beautiful world, when they see horses along a countryside road and think there's something so inescapably beautiful in what I just saw, you performed a miracle. If someone comes to your live stream and they watch you chop vegetables with your child dancing and laughing next to you, you've offered a miracle. Everything you do matters. If you are working on playing the perfect bass line, knowing that perfection exists within the playing itself, you're doing a miracle. If you trim a hedge or a tree and you look at it and you nod your head and say, I got it just right. I revealed the essence of the tree. You just did a miracle. Everything you do is a miracle in the making if you give it love. If you give it love in what you do. My channel means everything to me because I get to have this conversation. Everything I've ever done on my YouTube channel has allowed me to have this conversation with friends that I absolutely love. And I'm happy with that. I see the opposite. Just yesterday, I spent some time on someone's channel and the entirety of the channel was dedicated to tearing someone down. And I really like the person that has that channel. And I really like the person that they tried to tear down. And I couldn't help but think, there's a better way. And all I can do, I can't offer it to someone. All I can do is demonstrate it. I can just have my channel dedicated to being loving. Full of love. That's what every single one of us can do. Sniper says, greetings, Johnson. Tandra says, Yogi, your channel is being my friend. It's great. Thank you, Tandra. That means a lot to hear from you. We got love from Eve. Thank you, Eve. Sniper says, Eric, you have the power of an amplifier and transistor for your pure and unconditional love. Man, I love hearing that because you know where that power is? That power is each and every one of you. We're all the power for each other. And that's why we're going to grow. That's why YouTube is going to change. YouTube is not going to be a place of hate. Do you know why? Because Squirrel Sniper, because of Eve, because of Tundra, because of Easy, because of Luke, because of Johnson. Man, every day we have someone come in who wants to offer criticism, who wants to tear us down, we can see him as a troll. But you know what? Every day we have someone like Johnson come in who says, "Good evening, everyone. Have a blessed morning and evening to you all. God bless." That cancels out all the other stuff. One comment cancels out all the other stuff. Again, to quote Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. Don't worry about anything else. Be the change. Go to your channel and do what you love, whatever that might be. Hey, Ryan. Nice to see you, my friend. Good morning to you. All right, guys. I got to get out, though. I got to take my walk. It's another cold morning. Semper says, we are all the receptors of unconditional love. We just have to allow it. It is free choice, but one with much to gain from. Absolutely. Beautifully said. Tundra says, catch you later, Yogi. Have a nice walk. Thank you. Tundra, and as you said, you know what? It's only going to be a half-hour walk, but who knows what's outside? Who knows what I'm going to see this morning? It's an adventure. Suburban adventure, but still an adventure. I wrote about that this morning. It's actually up on my community page if anyone wants to read it. Yesterday morning as I was walking, I reminded myself, it's still wilderness. I might not see it, but wilderness never goes away. It's still present. And if you allow it, every step invokes that wilderness. Tanya says, I look forward to what you captured today. Thank you. Luke says, take care, everyone. You too, Luke. Seppi says, have a beautiful morning. You as well, my friend. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all later.